Wolfe here, and I'm going to change my tempo and my style here for just a little bit. I'm going to talk to you about something we're all familiar with, we all deal with, and maybe I have a strategy or two that can help you to sort of overcome. And that is self-doubt, the critical inner voice, the inner dialogue, imposter syndrome. Especially when you're an entrepreneur or anyone who is sort of like blazing their own trail, this kind of stuff is very powerful, and it really has an impact on our lives, our happiness, and our success. So we all know how the inner dialogue shows up, the negative inner voice, the critic, in our conscious mind, right? And our conscious mind is here, and this is where you can actually hear the thoughts. You can hear yourself saying negative things about your ideas and bad talking yourself and stuff like that. This video assumes that you're pretty good at handling this stuff. What I want you to understand is that that imposter syndrome, that negative voice, never really goes away. But once you get good at handling this, where you can recognize the thoughts that are critical, it still comes into play, but in a different way, right? The negative self-talk and everything kind of sinks below the surface of consciousness a little bit, and it still is present in the subconscious, kind of like right here at the line between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, okay? And when this happens, it shows up differently. This is what to be aware of. If you've got to the point where you've gotten a handle on this, you've maybe got some strategies and tools for recognizing it, acting in spite of it, and things like that, what I want you to be aware of is that when you get to this level, it still shows up, and it shows up more at a subconscious level. And here's what it's more, how it shows up. It shows up more like a picture in your mind, accompanied by a burst of emotion. So it's just a quick picture accompanied by a negative feeling. This is a much more insidious form of the imposter syndrome or the negative inner voice, the inner dialogue, much harder to catch. But it's much easier to catch if you know what you're looking for. So again, if you've gotten a handle on this and you've created some tools and strategies for dealing with this, understand that as your level rises and your imposter syndrome, that doesn't really go away, it just changes its form. What it changes to is this sort of like, it's a burst of feeling that comes and goes with a negative picture in your mind associated with it. And the reason it's so hard to catch is because it just sort of flashes and then goes away, but it leaves you with the residue of the doubt, of the negativity, of all the things that the imposter syndrome brings at the more recognizable levels. So watch out for those pulses of emotion with a negative picture or thought attached to them. Once you can see them, they become much easier to manage. But the trick, once you've gotten past this level, is to even recognize them in the first place. Once you do recognize them and you understand that it's like this pulse of emotion and an image, you're going to find that it's much easier to manage it. I hope this helps you on your journey to success.